it comes to personal finance, everyone follows a plan. Whether it's their plan or someone else's plan, they tend to, behave in a certain way that they think is in their best interest. One of the biggest plans that everyone follows is Dave Ramsey's 7 Steps to Financial Freedom. I actually read his book in college, so I know a little bit about his 7-step plan. I have my own opinions about Dave Ramsey's plan, and that's what I want to share with you. I think perspective matters when you're reading his plan. If you are a younger person who is disciplined and smart with your money, I think there's better things you can do than his plan says you should do. But if you're just if you're 35 and you're in a lot of debt and you're doing very poorly financially, I'd highly recommend following his plan. But if you're really looking to get even further ahead faster while you're young, then my way might be a little bit better. Obviously, Dave Ramsey's plan is very successful, and that's why he has a huge following, and a lot of people live or die by his rules. But moving on to his first step, which is to save $1,000. Now, he actually has said that $1,000 was never enough, and it's a psychological win to get people, motivated to take action, and it's a fast win that's easy to achieve in maybe a month. And I think that you should have probably about a month's expenses saved up just to really give yourself a little bit of fallback, because if you're young and, you're in your early 20s, the worst thing that could happen is I don't know, you got to move back home with your parents and you got to go work at Target. It's not the end of the world. After 30 days, you can make a lot happen in 30 days to subsidize a 22-year-old's lifestyle. You know what I mean? So moving on to the second step is the debt snowball method. So this is lay out your loans, smallest to largest, and pay them off in that order. And once again, he mentions this isn't about money or math. It's about behavior. And paying off these, debts faster because you're getting the smaller ones out of the way first, it feels like a win and it keeps you motivated. But if you don't really need motivation, then I would highly suggest the avalanche method, which is paying off your debts in order of interest rate from highest to lowest. And once again, if you're super young, the interest is going to kill you, and you have so much time to get in the stock market that paying off the higher interest actually gets your debt out of the way faster mathematically. So you should probably go with that if you're super young. But if you have been lingering in debt for years and years and years, then probably go with the snowball, because you might need those psychological wins to, boost you and to keep the plan on track. Moving on to step number 3, this is a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Now, I think if you're younger and you've got really nothing to lose, no really huge responsibilities like kids or a family or anything like that, then you should go for the lower end of this, because the compounding growth you're missing out on. Say you saved just $7,000 for 3 months expenses, and you're under 25. You're looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're missing out on if you were to invest that money instead of keep it in a high yield savings account. Now, obviously, if you can't sleep at night because of how much money, you're scared that you're not going to be able to make the bills if you're to lose your job. That's your own personal thing, and I understand that. And some people like to keep even more than 6 months of an emergency fund, which is fine as well. But I do think it's more important when you're super young to get that money in the market and really make it work for you. So baby step 4 is invest 15% of your income for retirement only after all your debt is gone. And once again, I kind of feel the same way about this. If you're super young, you're really missing out. If you're under 25 and that money could maybe 50x, and your interest rate is, 4 or 5% on your student loans, then you should really be investing beforehand, because you're really missing out on, decades of 10% growth every year on average, which is really the cost of paying off these loans really early. Also, I want to talk about, if you don't invest a dollar until you're debt free, you are also missing out on employer matches this whole time if you have one, which is you're losing free money pretty much. And yeah, overall, this step is just mathematically inferior for young investors. Now, step 5 is to start saving for your children's college tuition. Me personally, I didn't get any money for college myself, and I made it through all right. If you want to invest in your kid's college, go ahead. I don't know what I'm going to do. That's a long time away before I'll start thinking about that. But I made it through without any, a 529 for me. But a lot of people don't have one, and they get through anyway. I think, obviously setting your kids up for success is great, and that's a great thing to do. One more thing I want to say about this is college ROI can vary depending on, the school and the degree that you're getting. And the job market now is pretty bad, so as long as this degree was useful, that they're getting, I would be in total support of, saving for your kids' college. And Dave Ramsey's sixth step is to pay off your mortgage early. And I'm pretty sure he recommends to get a 15-year mortgage. Now, once again, this is mathematically inferior for younger investors, which is, they should be getting more money in the market and get a better return than paying off their mortgage. Now, mortgage rates have been pretty high in the last few years, so I would be somewhat in support of paying off your mortgage early. If you're, in your 40s, 50s, 60s, get it out of the way as fast as you can. But in your 20s, I don't think, if you're even able to buy a house in your 20s, I don't think you should be paying off your mortgage early. You should really focus on getting that money in the market faster and investing more. Maybe bump that 15% up a little bit from the previous step. And yeah, really just try to invest as much as you can, because your net worth will skyrocket if you were to do that instead of paying off your mortgage early. So the last step is to build wealth and give generously. And I have no arguments against this step. I think it's a great thing to do. And hopefully I'll be doing the same when I'm older and have more money than I do right now. And yeah, really set the next generation of your family up and maybe help other people out that need it. And I think this is a great step overall. And that's what I think about Dave Ramsey's 7 steps. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks.